Alright, so I'm trying to platinum over 100 games in a list created by the community. Now, if I can't do this before the channel hits 850,000 subscribers, then I will shave my head bald and look like a base character from a video game. So make sure to drop a like and subscribe. Alright, so today I chose to platinum Crash Bandicoot 2. Now, if you guys know anything about my history within gaming, you would know that I am particularly dog shit at games, including parkour, and Crash Bandicoot is entirely a parkour game. I did the first one a few months ago, and oh my god, it took me almost twice as long as the guide suggested it would take because I am so bad at these games. But today I did platinum Crash Bandicoot 2. It only has 25 trophies inside, but with a rating of 6 out of 10 for difficulty, that is no measly feat to complete.
That's what I'm saying.
The entire plot for Crash Bandicoot 2 is about you playing as Crash, having to go run around and collect purple crystals on every single level and give them to Dr. Neo Cortex in order to quote-unquote save the world, but we will see if that is true or not. Stage 1, by the way, is to just enjoy and complete all of the levels. I'm sure one of those will happen for sure. Anyways, like usual with the Crash Bandicoot games, you of course don't get many trophies, we know this. So the first one I did get was on the second level, I believe, in the snowy place, but it was from going into my first bonus level or room of the entire game. The bonus level, as you may or may not know, is essential to getting all boxes and gems in the future, which is also one of the hardest parts of the game's platinum in general, but that is in stage 2, so we won't break any controls over it right now. I then just kept on playing because the masters above have locked me in this room, not being allowed to leave unless I finish another video, which is why I beat all the levels in the first warp room hub, unlocking the boss battle against Ripperoo, who is the very first boss of Crash Bandicoot 2. And if I'm being honest, this boss fight is like one of the harder ones of the game, and that's on baby Jesus. Unlike the first game where the first fight you could basically just sit still in the right place and win, this one requires some very specific placement in order to avoid being blown up by a nitro TNT box, and I definitely did not get this first try. I actually think I did a grand total of 0 levels, fights, or anything first try in my playthrough of this game's platinum. It's actually pretty tragic, and I'm severely disappointed right now. But I did beat Ripperoo eventually, and almost only thanks to this extra hit I got given after failing so many times. Shout out game developers for real. So after beating Ripperoo, we then got to move on to the second warp room and set up levels as you would expect to happen. In this new room, there wasn't necessarily harder levels, they were just all very different compared to the first room. That being because we had the first of many animal riding levels, which are actually my favorite in terms of just fun, but it is a bit annoying at some points, I'll be honest. There was also one of those levels where you run into the camera, and if you're a normal person like me, then you absolutely hate these. Like seriously, this is some satanic shit. Why was this ever created? I want to cry. But thankfully the boss fight for those levels was legit 10 times easier than the first one. It was against the Komodo bros, and it was a very traditional type of fight in terms of there wasn't anything crazy about it. Like you basically just avoided a few attacks, then ran over and did your own and repeated that. So yeah, GG. And finally, on the third set of levels, I would end up reaching a death level for the first time. This is a special level you get if you reach its spawn point without dying yet in the level overall. And if that doesn't tell you how bad I am at this game, I don't know how else to describe it. It took me 3 warp rooms to do this. But upon entering the death level for the first time, I got a trophy from doing that. But aside from that, I also reached the boss fight against Tiny Tiger about 10 minutes later, making it one of my faster warp room completions of the game. And I'm not gonna lie, if that tiger is tiny, some other things that are tiny must be minuscule, because that is an insane size comparison. The fight against Tiny Tiger was also not tiny, might I add, and it's one of the few that didn't really have us actually attacking the boss ourselves, but rather trying our best to set up and time him jumping onto a platform when it is red, because that is the only way to damage him. At first glance, it's kind of hard to figure out what exactly to do against the guy, but once you figure out how easy it actually is to set up an attack, the boss fight will finish faster than acceptable standards. And here's the trophy from it. So I then moved on to the next warp room levels like we have been doing all day, and in this new level group, there was also a new enemy added into the spew of things, that being the bee. The bee enemy is signified by a beehive on the ground, and upon running past it, you will start getting chased, meaning you cannot go back or you will die. And I did indeed get caught one time, which actually kills Crash. Yes, he is now dead, and they gave us a trophy for finding his kryptonite on this earth. So yeah, anyways, since this is the 4th room, the levels are a bit hard now and not so easy to complete, being the reason why it took me around 1 to 2 hours to get all the way through them, and I started to lose my mind while doing this. I mean, if we were being honest, I'm basically always losing my mind. And yes, I know breaking controllers are bad, I am aware. And yes, I do probably need a therapist, but no, your comments saying those things do not help, thank you. And yeah, I also did completely rip apart a controller during this section. It was not my main one though, it was the one from the COD video that I made a few days ago. Man, I really picked 2 great games to go for back to back, straight from Call of Duty to Crash Bandicoot 2. It's like I'm asking for anger management classes, that's crazy. But I finally reached the boss fight for this warp room, and it was against a dude named N.Jin. Imagine your first name just being a letter, and then your last name is Jin. Shit, I probably want to destroy the world also, that's so real. But the fight itself wasn't that hard. It was a bit long though. Kind of a weird combo when the two don't go together, but you do you, I guess. And upon winning it, I got another trophy. So then I reached the last set of levels in the game, the 5th and final warp room. And pretty much all of these levels are hard in their own way, but they are definitely the worst out of any level in the game. I would also say that Crash Bandicoot 1 did have harder levels just on their own, but these ones still sucked caca. Thankfully though, that final boss fight was legit the easiest thing ever, and I might have only died one time during it. You legitimately just chase Dr. Neo Cortex while flying. That was the entire thing, and it was so easy. I'm actually upset because then the game just ends. What a damn disappointment. But I did get a trophy and also speed shoes, which I didn't realize were a thing until going for the time trial, so that's cool. But now it's time for stage 2 of the platinum, going back in and finding every single gem while also getting a few other trophies just naturally from the gems. Getting a gem, by the way, is gotten from both getting every single box smashed in a level, or finding it from a secret level, or even from doing a level fast enough in certain parts, but that one is kind of a rare occurrence. And the first trophy I did get was from finding the secret exit in the air crash level. Upon jumping on the platform, entering it, you get the trophy pop, and then you end up in this alternate warp room with portals going to all the other secret levels I have yet to acquire. This room is also what allows us to go for these special color gems, by the way, which are the quote-unquote harder to get gems. For another hour and a half, I then kept on going after gems, struggling and clawing my way to the top. This entire game was a struggle, by the way, because as I have said, I suck duty poopy at Crash Bandicoot, making my experience very bad all the time. It's kind of comparable to smoking weed, but as a very anxious person, so you just always have a bad trip. That's what it feels like when I play Crash Bandicoot. But the next trophy I got was from taking a color gem path for the first time. This is an alternate route for a level that shows up after you find the corresponding color gem from a different level. The next 4 trophies I then got were all actually from finding secret exits to levels. And these really aren't that hard to find, but I did look at a few guys to assist on 1 or 2 because some aren't that obvious. But overall, this is not a hard trophy to get. However, after getting all of those trophies from secret levels, I only have the gem trophies, relic trophies, and a few random ones left. One of those random ones was from jumping on this polar bear's head over and over in the warp room. And I'm not gonna lie, this kind of feels like animal cruelty, and I do not condone such actions, but it was for a trophy. I was forced. I then had to do another random action with a polar bear, but it was from getting a launch off of his back and jumping into an ice block obstacle as it's being held up. It's a very weird trophy and kind of hard to get to work, let's be honest. However, I did get it finally, and here is that right here. And sadly, that was it for the random trophies until the very ending, meaning it is now time to lock in, baby. So I did just that and locked in for multiple hours straight of gem grinding in Crash Bandicoot. And after 3 or so hours, I managed to get 21 gems, or half of them. God, I suck at this game, holy moly. Yeah, if you can't already tell by now how much time we have spent on the gems in this video, it took me forever to get these. Mostly because I kept on missing like 2 boxes and having no fucking idea where they were. So I had to research and then replay and then repeat that for like every level. It was horrid. And funnily enough, I'm not joking when I say this, but my recording software ended up freezing about 10 or 15 minutes before I got 41 gems for that final gem trophy. And I did not see it actually show up on my recording because it just froze for some odd reason. I have no idea why, because after I shut off the software and reopened it, the thing functioned perfectly fine. So fuck you, Elgato, once more. Overpriced dog shit. Anyways, that is now stage 2 finished, the final one being to go get every single relic. Relics are another type of award for finishing a level, but this time from doing the level in a certain time limit. Yup, the most iconic and fun part of these games. And just so you know, I did not ever do this in one try. A few I got close on and it took like 3 to 4 tries, but some took me over an hour to get, which is insane. And also why this game has about 10 more hours of playtime on it than needed, because I am so good at it. So I'm just gonna throw these relic trophies in right here. There isn't much to say about them since every relic getting process is the same. You just go fast, and if you don't go fast enough, you ain't getting the relic. But after getting that final one, I did still have 3 trophies left to get. The first one was from doing a double leg slam attack with the girl character in this game, who I played 0 of until going for this trophy right here and getting it. I then had to get 99 levels, which is the max in the game. And I found out after one swift Google search that you can do this by just farming a beehive over and over. Upon killing all of the bees in the cycle, you get a free life every single time, so I did that 99 times for the trophy. I then had to go make a new game and fail or quit the first level 3 times, so Dr. Neo Cortex admits that he picked a retard to get the crystals for him, and admittingly he gives up trying to tell us what to do in the game. So here's that final trophy and the Platinum Trophy pop along with it. That was the Crash Bandicoot 2 Platinum Trophy experience. Overall, the game is, in my opinion, a pretty hard game. Then again, I do just suck at these games, so I am probably the worst or even best difficulty rater for this game series. But I imagine if I didn't suck at Crash Bandicoot, how much fun it would be. Anyways, rating it out of 10, I'll just say a solid 5 out of 10. Straight down the middle. I personally do not like these games at all, but that's, mostly due to me just sucking at them. So yeah, thanks for watching.